Hello and welcome back to another Speedbuild video. My name's Jess and today I'm building in Henford-on-Bagley on a 20 by 20 lot, and today's build is a Christmas bakery that definitely just works as a general retail store as well because there is a Christmas shop on the inside, so hopefully that'll work really nicely for gameplay. But you can see I'm going with a classic Christmas color palette with the green and red, and I really loved using this swatch. I think it's so cute. And I was able to use like different items that I don't normally gravitate towards because I had to, because they were the only ones that had the proper swatch. So just adding in some items to add in a few more details to the exterior. So of course this is a green build, so I needed to add some ivy. And just a fun behind the scenes, I did look at every ivy we have in the game, and this one was the closest I could find to the green swatch on the roof. So thank you to Get Together for bringing this ivy swatch or ivy item into my life, as well as thank you to Vampires for having this gorgeous red ivy that I think added in the perfect pop of red. This exterior I was so happy with how everything came together. And just the red and green that I was using, the fact we have so much of it throughout the game, if you just do a little looking, just made me so happy. So one thing I do want to mention is I know with this lot, it doesn't have the best lighting, which is a classic Sims problem, but definitely in Henford-on-Bagley, all these lots that are on this side of the world are so beautiful, and like everything in the world is gorgeous as well. But oh my gosh, do they have terrible lighting, and there's just like no time of day that works for it. So anyways, I had to bear with it, and hopefully it doesn't bother you too much. It definitely bothered me when I was building, but you know, sometimes you have to go for it for the sake of a gorgeous lot, and this I just felt like suited the world so well. So you can see that I used the piece from Jungle Adventure. It's a live edit piece, and I use that to go around and make it kind of a curved section of, I guess, patio space. And I didn't want you to have to sit through all of that, so I did do most of it off camera, but I love how that turned out, and I think just adds the perfect amount of detail. And of course I had to add in a trellis area. I think that's like becoming a signature part of my builds. But I just thought that this build really needed a little something to really make it look like an actual bakery. And how this all came together, I just think really made this obviously a cafe, or not cafe, a bakery. And I really love how it looked, because initially I was like, this is just kind of looks like a weird colored house. But with the addition of the trellis, I think it just makes it work so much better as a bakery. So I'm using my favorite bush from Get Together to just draw around the outside of this build. I wanted that bush is like perfect for filling in the little gap that you usually have in the last one tile of a build when you don't know what exactly to do with landscaping, and it's just the perfect thing to fill in that space. So big fan. And yeah, so you can see I'm actually finished up with the landscaping and moving on to adding some tables. So I added in a more traditional bistro style table to the front, and of course I'm adding in some extra hollyhocks to bring in that red color a little bit more throughout those planter boxes. I just thought it needed a little bit more red. They were pretty orangey. So now you can see I'm using some of the tables from Cottage Living, as well as the chairs and just a base game chair as well. I wanted to mix it up to make it look just, I think, sit in with the build really nice and have that like shabby chic kind of style. So I went ahead and used that in there. And here is when I realized I didn't quite get the dimensions of the build exactly how I wanted them. So I just adjusted that. And I do need to move the kitchen out one as well, but I do that a little later because I don't notice until later. But you can see I'm getting the layout in general all figured out. And so there's going to be a little Christmas store down below as well as up above. And up there, there's also going to be a little like staff room, or really it's like a mini apartment for your Sims. So of course, with a retail store, it's nice to have a place where your Sims can sleep and eat if you don't want them to leave the lot. So after getting the wallpaper all figured out, which I love this wallpaper from Outdoor Retreat, I think it was the perfect addition to add in that super bright red and super bright green. And we definitely don't have many swatches of wallpaper that work for that. So I was so happy to have it in our game. And it's just crazy because Outdoor Retreat is so old now, and just like having moments to still appreciate it is very nice. So I went ahead and used this upper cabinet and just flipped it around so there'd be an area to set the sign. And I really love how that looked because it was a little bit of an awkward placement with the windows there. But I think it just kind of separated off the window area where there's going to be kind of some items where I'll put on display, and you can kind of check it out before you come into the bakery. So I think it just added a really nice division of the main bakery space and that little display space. So you can see I'm just adding in a few items, of course, some coffee makers and some coffee bags and mugs, and just a few little things to make it feel like it is a proper bakery. And hopefully it will still be nice, like if you're doing some gameplay, that your Sims could make some coffee here as well. And then of course adding in a few extra clutter items. And I am loving this item from, I believe it's Country Kitchen, and I think it's so perfect for Christmassy builds because of the cookie swatch in it. I think that just works so well for Santa, of course. So I was happy to be able to add that in, and I think it just filled in that space exactly how I wanted it to. Now, one thing I was going to ask was if you all have any favorite Christmas traditions or things that you do every year with your family, or just that you do every year, like maybe a Christmas movie you watch every year, because I just did one of my own traditions. In my family, we always spend a day every year baking cookies. We call it Cookie Day, very creative name. But so we just did that, and it was a lot of fun. Lots of mixing and rolling out and waiting for things to bake, but so worth it. We ended up with so many cookies, so many different types, and so we just do it so then we can either gift it to people or also, of course, enjoy ourselves and enjoy it on Christmas. So that was a lot of fun. And if you are wondering what my contribution was, I went ahead and made snickerdoodles this year, but I did have a bit of a fail, and the other cookie I usually make is something called alfajores, and my partner is actually from Peru, and it's a cookie he introduced me to that he had kind of grew up with. And so for the past couple years I've been making it, and I just had a total fail with it. It's so good. It has dulce de leche in the middle, and so it's just this delicious caramely cookie. But yeah, I just made the dough completely wrong, and there was no salvaging it. It was so sad. So definitely want to try and give it a go again this year, so I don't just have that fail and I can bring it, redeem myself. So hopefully I'll have time to be able to do that. But yeah, let me know if you do the same, if you have any other Christmas traditions that you enjoy. And if you you can just let me know in the comments. And I definitely would love to know what other people are doing this time of year. What's kind of something you do in your family that's kind of unique to your family. That would be nice to hear. But one thing I did also mention was Christmas movies. And I was also trying to think about my own personal favorite Christmas movies. So it was a very difficult question. And I definitely, if you want to do the same and think about like your must-watch Christmas movies, let me know. But for me, I think I never can pick just one thing, but I think I came up with my personal 3. So it would be The Grinch, The Holiday, and Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. I think that is an example of a sequel that was better than the original, but that's just my personal opinion. But I love that movie. I love all of those movies. I have to watch them this time of year. And The Holiday I watch any time of year. So even The Grinch I watch pretty often. So anyways, those are my movies. Let me know if yours are a little different. If there's anything else that you usually have to watch during this time of year. So anyways, while we've been talking about all this, we made quite a bit of progress. So I worked on the bathrooms, and luckily there was space for 2 different toilets, which is just kind of nice in any build to have a little bit of extra space, because usually I only leave enough space for just a really small bathroom. But we also added in the kitchen area, and in the kitchen, I wanted to make sure there was room for the cupcake factory, which is so massive, and I was just able to squeeze it in, and I'll be sure to play test it just to make sure that it does fully work in how I placed it. But I really, really love that little kitchen. I think it turned out really nice. And here you can see I'm just moving on to the little Christmas store that's downstairs, or a kind of Christmas room, however you want to think about it while you're playing. But so you can see I added in a little Christmas tree area, and I wanted it to be a spot where your Sims could take photos, as well as just a little area where maybe you could sell some of those items, like the tree or the chair itself. And I loved using this garland piece. Usually in my last build, I did just a starter home, so I wasn't able to use as much as I would have liked to. So being able to just use it without worrying about the budget was really nice this time around. So anyways, you can see I'm just cluttering it up with a ton of stuff. I really wanted to make it feel really full and festive. And one thing is I did use this bouquet from my wedding stories, and I just thought in the red it kind of looked like a poinsettia, and for me, definitely talking about Christmas traditions, it feels like a poinsettia is definitely a Christmas tradition. For me, every year I have to buy one. So adding that in, I just thought was really cute and gave me the Christmas vibes that I was really going for. And upstairs, you'll see I add in a build I actually already had started, and it was supposed to be a Christmas nursery. So I definitely wanted to keep that throughout the bottom and add quite a bit of flowers. So that's kind of why I fill up the table with mostly flowers. But of course, I add in a few nutcrackers and some Christmas cards, which I think looked really cute. I love this little table as you walk in. And we are just about done with the bottom story. I'm just going to add a few items to these 2 tables here, which these tables are so cute from Holiday. The holiday pack, I guess you would call it, the free pack that we got. I think it's so, so cute. And I wanted to have the 2 different sizes, so I just had to move it down with the tool mod, and that was perfect. So we are about to jump upstairs. I did try and find some wall items that I thought would work nicely here, but luckily we have those pieces from Seasons that worked so well. So here you can see I added in a room from that I mentioned was on my gallery. So this is a little nursery that I created for a challenge that I'm actually doing over on Instagram and Twitter. So every day this month I'm doing a 3x3 room, and this one I created a Christmas nursery. So I just thought I loved how that looked, so I might as well carry it over to this build. So I just copied over some pieces, some of those shelves that are so cluttered up with lots of adorable things. I really, really love how that little room turned out, so I'm really glad to use it in a main build that I'm doing. And you can see I'm doing a lot of copying items from upstairs, as well as the build that I did from the 3x3 challenge. which is really fun, and I would definitely recommend if you want to see some super cute builds. You can just search the hashtag December or DEC build 22 on Twitter or Instagram, and you can see just a ton of cute builds. Anyways, it's been a lot of fun and I love it. So anyways, you can see I'm adding in a ton of little items to just clutter this up, and I did want to have a few items that were actually clipped into the slots, so hopefully that'll be easier to restock. So that's what the cookie jars are. So hopefully if you are going to use this as a retail store, that will work nicely for slotting it in, or being able to restock it. So anyways, I'm just adding in a few wreaths. I'm just about finished with the little Christmas store up here. So now we're moving on to the little apartment area, and this apartment I wanted to keep really simple but still have that festive vibe. Now I will say I went with more of a pastel color for the main apartment, but that's just because I had to use the Murphy bed, of course, and the Murphy bed only came in a pink swatch, so I just thought I would make it like a light green as well as a pink green, and I really think that those ended up working well together. So you can see I finished up the bathroom, kept the bathroom really simple, and again, just keeping it the kitchen really simple, and I think it came together so nicely. This little Murphy bed, of course, you have to have it in a build like this, and I was able to add in a little office space so you can have a computer in this build. And that actually means we're coming close to the end of the video, so I just want to say I hope you're having a great holiday season. Hopefully you're coming up to a break and just get to enjoy a few days off from work and stress. But with that being said, I hope you have a great day today. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.